their hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Match 42 of the IPL here on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket 4 Timeout. We're back at the Eden Gardens. That is giving us one all-time classic after the next. The Kolkata Knight Riders have bounced back, beaten RCB in a thriller after going down to Rajasthan in a thriller, and they come up against a Punjab Kings side that have now lost 4 on the trot, and it's looking tougher and tougher for Sam Curran in the continued absence we expect of Shikhar Dhawan. Tom Moody and Varun Aaron to discuss the key points. Let's focus on KKR. They're the exciting team with due respect to Punjab. But one thing that's not been exciting is the form of Mitchell Starc, which has a further story developed by him not completing his quota in the last game, Tom Moody. And just looking at his numbers now, where the young Indian uncapped pacers seem to be outperforming him, I wonder what sort of conversation you'd have with Mitch Starc to just try and get him back on track.
Yeah, look, it'd be an open and honest conversation, but knowing the experience of Mitchell Starc, I'm sure he'd lead the conversation, talking about where he's at, how he's feeling, what he feels he's been doing wrong and what he needs to work on. And all you can do is, from a coach's perspective, is be there with open arms to support him. Because ultimately, you've got to look at the bigger picture and not the next game with Mitchell Starc. Is that if KKR are thinking long term, and that's playing finals and winning the final this year in the IPL, they need Mitch Starc firing in the finals. So they need to be taking the long view to how we can get him back to the top of his game, towards the back end of the tournament.
Yeah, I wonder if it would bother the modern day bowler as much, especially one as experienced as Starc, that he is expensive in this very inflated IPL. We just look at the most 50 plus spells in IPL history. You actually have 2 from this season, and both from teams that are actually winning. Bhuvneshwar Kumar has bowled better than 350 plus spells might suggest. It's nice to see our good friend Mitch McClanahan on that list from a different era.
We must bring that up when he's back.
Would Mitch Starc be concerned about going 4 runs, or does he understand the reality of it and knows he'll come good at some point?
I think he will be concerned, because the reason why, it's not because of any other reason, but it's actually his bowling. So if he was bowling well, if he was able to move the ball back in, if he was bowling his bouncer well, if he was nailing his Yorker and still going for runs, which you can in T20s, then he wouldn't be worried. But at the moment, I don't think he's getting his stock ball right. And any bowler, when he's not getting his stock ball right, that's when he can be a bit bothered. I personally think that it would be good for him to take a match off, just forget about what's been going on and just have a good net session, reset and come back. But that's my way of thinking of it. I don't know what Tom would think.
Yeah, you'd think with Punjab coming there with a top order that's short of batting form and with the inconsistency they've shown as a batting unit, this is not the match to take off, because this may be the match that sort of sets him on fire, where he can pick up 2 or 3 wickets, get away with that odd ball that, has been a poor delivery that doesn't go to the boundary or over the boundary, and it might not be the absolute one. But it's a good point you make, and I think that's part of the conversation you need to have with him to see where he's at, how he's feeling. He might sort of put his hand up and say, yeah, maybe 5 days or so off just to recharge, reset mentally more than anything else is what I need.
Would you consider cushioning how you use Starc? I thought it was interesting that in a chase, they gave Russell the bulk of the bowling at the death, and Starc didn't even bowl his full spell. Would you consider perhaps telling him, go hard with the new ball and take maybe 3 overs and finish one in the middle? So it's the death that seems a bigger problem for Starc.
You can definitely do that, but you have to go by what he's bowling at the moment. Because
you're saying he's not bowling as well.
He's not bowling as well. That's the truth. The truth is that if I was Mitchell Starc, I would know that, okay, I'm not able to get the ball back in. The moment I'm trying to go from outside off, my ball's going way down, like wide outside off. So these are concerns sometimes a left-arm fast bowler has. And he needs a break, according to me. Like take a break, recharge, come back. Again, but Tom makes a good point. Maybe Punjab is the team to play against and get into rhythm. Right. And the best part is that KKR are winning, so he has that cushion of playing more games. But if KKR were losing, then it would have been a whole different conversation.
Okay, we wait to see how the KKR management handles the most expensive signing in IPL history. And Dushmantha Chamira is the reserve overseas team option in that Knight Riders camp. Moving over to Punjab Kings, it seems like the season is just not finding any real direction or momentum. One of the key reasons perhaps is Jitesh Sharma, one of their star players, someone who you thought was a first choice or at least close to the first choice for India wicketkeeper in the T20 World Cup, has just not got going. That's in spite of coming in early at times, Varun, coming in late at times. The kind of things that Shashank and Ashutosh have done, we were expecting from Jitesh. It's just not happened.
You're absolutely right. It hasn't happened, and that's one of the reasons why Kings are lagging so way behind in the table. And Jitesh coming good is really important for them. But how many chances do you give him? Because they've fallen behind all the teams, and now they're in a desperate position where they have to win every single game to stay in contention. So would you bring back Johnny Bairstow, let him keep, or let Prabhsimran keep and give Taide a go? So these are conversations I'm sure the Kings will be having at the moment.
That's interesting. There are a number of batters you think make a case for being left out. We've already seen them drop Bairstow and play Russo. Is Jitesh in that conversation as well now for someone who's not firing?
I think it has to be in that conversation. The most interesting thing around that graphic that was brought up is his entry points. And it's not like he's been coming in at the 17th or 18th over.
Yes.
He's been coming in with plenty of time for him to get established and put a real, footprint on that innings, which is not always the case when you're batting at 6 or around that position, sort of 5, 6, 7. So there's very little excuse with regards to the output. So therefore, that conversation needs to be had.
I'd be interested to see what his entry points were last year, and maybe they'd all be a lot later. And is that something Punjab can possibly do? Send the two guys in form, Shashank and Ashutosh, up, and push Jitesh to just that, go and whack every ball in the last. You probably get 10 balls and try and get us 30.
So sometimes when you've got that time on your hands and you're not feeling your best form-wise, that if you remove the thinking part of batting, you're in a better position where you just know that I've got to nearly hit a boundary every ball, or every second ball I've got to try to hit a boundary. So you sort of eliminate the sort of cloud that can, sit above a batter that's, searching for runs.
If we find out that he's still in the T20 World Cup squad, would it surprise you?
It would, because Rishabh Pant is batting unbelievably well. Sanju Samson's a contender. KL Rahul, if he's in the keeper category, is obviously a contender. So there are some serious names thrown into that whole jumble.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Prediction though, Varun, Tom?
I think KKR are going to be hard to beat at home.
I agree with Tom.
All right, I thought as much. That's why I almost finished the show before asking you. Thank you very much to Varun Aaron and Tom Moody. It's been hard for the Punjab Kings, but the panel certainly believes that KKR are good enough to continue their winning streak at home. They dropped that one game to Rajasthan, but they start as favourites. This was Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.